Hey everybody, welcome to ReadySetCrypto Live. Today is Wednesday, the 30th of November, 2022. Welcome aboard. Glad to see everybody out there. And we've got a little bit of a rally going on today. So thought it'd be a good time to talk to you guys and see what's going on out there and talk through what we're seeing with the move today. Welcome aboard, and we'll take a look here into our charts. What I'd like to encourage you guys to do is to let me know what you'd like to see in terms of what you'd like to see from chart TA today. So if there's any coins or pairs that you'd like to see, chat them in. Let me know. While you're doing that, let me know where you guys are coming in from. Where's your location? And go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Let everybody know that we are streaming today. We'll be here for maybe the next 20, 30 minutes, depending on how many questions and interaction that we get. But thought I'd light this thing up again and get her going. So welcome aboard, everybody. Again, my name's Doc. I'm with ReadySetCrypto, and I will be your TA tour guide today. Welcome aboard. Oh, let's see. We got somebody from Manchester. Please look at QNT. All right. Thank you very much, Chunky. Outstanding. We will do that. QNT. Highlands, North Carolina. All right. Not far up the road here. What a beautiful place. AKB. QNT and IOTEX. Will do. Okay, let's see. BTC target for December. I don't know. My crystal ball's not here. Hey, Joe from Berlino. Nice to be here. What'd you do? TA on Matic. What's that? Polygon? Absolutely. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you from India. Fantastic. Thanks, Joaquim. All right, Chunky Ninja. Oh, man, I got to get back to Manchester. That is one of my favorite train stations there. You guys have a beautiful Victorian train station in Manchester. I have a good friend there that I went to summer camp with. We were both summer camp counselors like 800 years ago, and he is from Manchester. So we recently got a chance to go up there and go visit with my friend Andy, checking out places like Chetham's Library and so forth. Didn't spend enough time there. We actually got in the United Stadium, took a quick look around, and hit the road. Seattle, Washington in the house. TA on XRP, please. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Let me do this. Well, let's get things warmed up here while everybody's coming in. While we get all the puppies in the box. Again, if you're just joining us here, say hello. Let us know where you're coming in from. We got folks all around the world here, and we'll get things started here. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Let us know what you'd like me to take a look at on the charts, and we'll get going here. So, all right. Hello, everybody. All right, I'm over here. Okay, I'm going to dive down here for a bit. Okay. So one thing that I want you guys to be aware of, let me get my magic pen going here, if you guys don't mind. One thing that we need to be aware of, where is this thing? Hang on a second here. Got to get my pen out, otherwise I can't talk. One thing we need to be aware of is the state of the dollar. The dollar has been just way too strong lately and is kind of crushing the life out of all these assets. All right, so we'll just go up here, get things moving here. Preston, UK. All right. I was just going to notice I did spend some time in Preston as well, too. Stayed in an Airbnb in Preston, which was right off the main road. I felt like I was taking my life in my hands a little bit on the main road. I don't know what the main road was there. We just walked up from the train station to an Airbnb, but it was good times there in Preston. Okay, so a little bit of a bear flag, which is actually good for the dollar, but you're seeing it come down today, and you're seeing all this green here. These are inversely correlated with each other. Fishergate, yep. Crushing the pound as well. The pound's being crushed. All right, so this is good. This is market positive for risk assets, and here's the 10-year note, which is a proxy for interest rates going forward. And notice that, okay, pen time. Let's see if we can get this pen going here. Notice that we have we have a daily downtrend here, lower highs and lower lows, daily downtrend. So what this is meaning is that the Fed is doing this, they're going in this direction, and everybody else, the bond market is going in this direction. They're actually dropping rates into the future. What does that mean? That means that they see weakness into the future. The bond market is a lot smarter than the Fed is. If you actually go through and look at all the backgrounds of all the people in the Fed, it's academic and bureaucratic. There is no market smarts there at all. Nothing. So that's actually good for risk assets, though. And this is why, when we're basically crawling along at 0% interest rates, there was no other game in town but to put your money into risk assets. So this has been especially disturbing to markets like crypto or NASDAQ tech over the last year because nobody needs them right now. They will come back. They will come back in favor. Don't you worry. Okay, let's take a look here at some of the requests that we've had. First of all, let me take a look at BTC. There was some thought about BTC here. We've had some interesting thoughts here. Now, I've got an expected move into the end of the year. This is based on what I saw about a week ago on Deribit. Deribit was pricing in on the options either a move as high as about 19,000 or as low as 12,500. And so far it's staying within the expected move of that. Now this would be nice if we did, this is a bear flag. This is a continuation pattern so far, right? So far this is just a bear flag continuation pattern. Although, if we start to break above 18,000, you can wipe this one out. So if we break above 18,000, you can wipe it out. And then the next target is about 21.5 or so. So that's my thought. Now, when people ask me what I think of what is the price target for something, quite honestly, guys, I'm going to say, look, I'm just an idiot savant. I just look at prices and try to figure out what they're telling me. They do not necessarily show what's in the future. I mean, we can do these kind of things with TA, right? When we see a market trend, which is doing something like this, then we would assume that the next pullback is probably going to break higher. But this is why we set up these things called Darvas boxes, because if it breaks higher but then forms a lower high, then we're talking about a very quick trip to the downside because everybody's looking long. So everybody's short down here. Everybody's short and people are holding. And some people are picking up inventory on the bottom. Some people are catching the falling knife. But for the most part, everybody that sold or that's going to sell has sold so far. We haven't really seen capitulation, although we have seen a lot of exchange transferred to exchanges and sold out of that. That's going to happen from time to time. But the volume spike is not that big, surprisingly. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at, if we zoom in on this, what I'm looking for, actually, if I see the price going above 17,250, that's actually pretty good. because that would be like a change to a 5-hour. We could almost put a 5-hour chart Darvis box onto here, and that would be a break above that. And that would set up as a base, a breakout from a base, which could be quite strong. So watch 17.5 to 18,000 or so. If we see a break above that, that's really good news. That's a very good sign. Okay. All right. Let me go to the list here. The first one that we had was QNT. QNT. Let's see how we're doing on QNT. Let's go to crypto, and we'll do that versus Tether. Okay. So from a chart perspective, okay, it's good that it's trading above the 200-day moving average. This is the 200-day moving average. You can view this as being kind of the mean. Actually, let me do this. I feel like I'm disconnected from you guys. I am going to undo this, bring this over here. So bear with me a second here. Bring this over here. And then, give me a second here. And we're going to go over here. Okay, now we're back. Now we're back. Okay, I feel like I'm talking to you guys now. Okay, let's get the magic pen going. And there we go. Okay, so what I'm seeing here with QNT is we're above the 200, which is good. However, this is just a consolidation flag right now. And it's broken through this trend line. So that's not good. So it's come down. This is consolidation, but frankly, everything is doing the same thing. Now, if it's able to break above, so what it's supposed to do is to break to the downside here. Typically, a bear flag like this marks a halfway house in the middle of a move. So the measured move on this one is probably down to 60. However, if we break above, I'd say 125, if it breaks above 125, you can wipe it. And this is going to turn into a big short covering move. So if we see a lot of capital going into risk assets, watch for the breakout above 125. Yes? Okay. Is that good? All right, let's see, EWT. I'll put EWT on the list. Yeah, all right. Next up is IOTEX. I'm not familiar with that one. Remember IOTA. IOTEX. Maybe it's IOTX. How about that one? IOTEX. Okay, so it is this one. Okay. Okay. How do I say this in a nice way? This is not good. This is not good. All right, so a couple of strong days here, but if we go out to the weekly chart, this is not looking healthy. So what I would want to see from this one, who was asking for this? AKB from Highlands. What a neat place. All that area up there, like Sapphire and Highlands and Cashiers and stuff like that. It's just amazing. One of the reasons why we moved down here to begin with, because we liked it. So what I'd want to see is some type of basing above that level, before I'd even consider anything on this. On Dodge, you want Dodge Ram or what about Dogecoin? You want Dogecoin? I'm driving a lifted Dodge truck. Have you guys ever seen that one? That's I think that's brilliant. Okay, so yeah, IOTEX. I would not touch this one until it gets above 4 cents. 4 cents. Okay. All right, so that's for AKB. So what's up with the Fed? The Fed, all the Fed has to do, see, this is what we've got the market just like completely screwed up into a tight spring right now. And it's just been, bash, 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 rate hikes. And the very second that all you have to say is, yeah, we might not hike as much next time. And all of a sudden today we've seen this, gonzo move across everything. And that's all it takes. Now, I don't know whether it's going to sustain itself. I don't know whether it's going to keep on going or not. Nobody knows. We're going to look for strength above 4,100 on the S&P for that. But there's a lot of energy in a lot of markets. So markets are just like, they're having fun today. It's like it's a big party because all of a sudden this capital is flowing back into risk assets just because one little statement from the Fed indicates that we may not get a 75 basis point hike coming up in 2 weeks. Crazy, right? It's crazy, but this is animal spirits. This is how markets move. Okay, next one. So done with this one. Let's go to Polygon. Matic is right there. Okay, so here's Polygon. Let's go to a daily chart. Polygon is still a little premature. We have a little bit of premature rally here. It really needs to base out for a little bit longer. It's kind of an ugly chart. Can't really get out of its own way right now. It needs to base a little bit longer. And here it's just about there because the volume is starting to tick up on this. The volume is starting to tick up. So I would not mind waiting for something above $1, breaking out maybe $1.10 or something like that. It's worth waiting for and not getting caught down in this crap down in the base. You don't want to get stuck in the base. It's like being thrown in the basement and locked in down there. Okay, next one. Next one is XRP. Do we no longer call that Ripple anymore? Do we no longer call that Ripple? So let's go to XRP. I know it's up here. There we go. Okay, Ripple's doing the same thing. XRP, excuse me, is doing the same thing. It tried to break out, was temporarily like the strongest coin in the market. Remember that? Like the first time in 4 years, it was the strongest coin in the market. And then it couldn't handle the weight of inflated expectations and it collapsed in a heap after the FTX thing. But it's doing a pretty good job right now. It's getting above the 200 again. But honestly, I would wait until this thing gets above maybe 50, 55 cents before I get into it again. Let's make sure we make sure our assets prove it that they can handle the, can you handle it? Can you handle an uptrend? What is their opinion on QNT? I just went through that one, man. I just went through QNT. It was the first coin that I did a few minutes ago. So maybe what you can do is rewind, and then you can catch up really quick. So it works. This YouTube thing really works well. Okay, so that's XRP. Now let's take a look at Phantom, FTM. Phantom versus Tether. Okay, another ugly one. What I don't like about this one is that we generally have a pretty strong downtrend in play, right? So you can see this pretty clearly here, this downtrend. And what you can do is I would not consider anything in this until it breaks that downtrend. Until it shows that it gets above like 30 cents, I would avoid this thing like the plague, even though it's coming off the bottom. Look, it's come from 17 cents up to 25 cents now, which is a big move, right? It has so far to go. Don't get caught down in the bottom. Don't get caught playing in the gutter when these things, this thing was trading at 325 before. It has so far to go if it's going to do a big basing pattern. Let's see, Joaquin, I'm not sure who you're talking about, transparency and lawsuits and all that stuff. I am not your fundamental guy. Just look at the charts. To me, everything is priced into the chart. Everything that's known about a company is done through price discovery. You don't really need to know anything about the fundamentals. That's my own opinion. Okay. Let's see. What do we got there? EWT is the next one. EWT. Sorry about all the bells going off. There's a bunch of alerts happening today. That is the wrong EWT. Let's try EWT in the crypto market. How about that one? Okay. This one is fairly trendless. If we look at the weekly chart, we still have a pretty ugly weekly chart. But I think you can see, look, what has to happen for this to change? Right now, it's making lower highs and lower lows, lower highs, higher low. This would be a higher high. If it's able to trade above 6, this thing could squeeze like crazy. So I would not touch this one until it gets above 6. That is EWT. EWT. Okay, let me catch up. Okay, so I've caught up with Ashvaj. And Crypto Bureau wants to look at Clay, K-L-A-Y. K-L-A-Y. Whoa. What? Okay, let's try this one. Okay. So another sad-looking chart, my friends. Another sad-looking chart. And there's, I mean, if I trash on your coin, please don't take it personally. Do not take it personally. I'm trying to save you the aggravation. This is a classic, hey, buy the dip. Hey, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Oh, shit, what's going on here? You know, don't try to catch a falling knife. This is the problem with everybody's buy the dip mentality. Wait till something starts trending higher. I'm a firm believer in going after assets that are proving themselves to be accumulated by the price going higher. That's how price goes higher, is because more people keep buying it and the demand out exceeds the supply. And this is why price goes higher. So you want demand on your side. You want institutional involvement. You want everybody in the world to be trying to buy your coin because that means it goes higher. So right now, that's not happening with Clay. That is not happening with Clay. So I would avoid this one. That's the very earliest I would look at something that's about 35 cents. But quite honestly, I think you're really, really early on this one. So, okay, let's see what's next here. EV Moss, Joaquim, EV Moss. I'm losing the old pipulars here. So, see if I can find something here. All right, let's look at this through Tether. Oh my goodness. What do you think I'm going to say about this one? That may be the worst of the worst that we've looked at. And again, look at the volume. What is the volume telling you? People are trying to get out of this thing. It's not volume that's accumulation volume. That's all red volume. This is people desperate to get out of this thing. They hate it. Okay, so you can take the other side of this if you want, but right now the trend is to the downside. So I would avoid this one until it starts getting up into this area here. All right, let's see what the next one is. EV Moss, the ticker would work is one from Hawaii. Yeah, that's the one I got. Thank you. Patience, the Crypto Bureau. Patience seems to be the key here, Doc. Are you thinking that we at least have another 6 to 12 months of this type of market? Yes. Okay, let me tell you why. I shall tell you why. Because we have not seen capitulation yet. Now, capitulation happens differently in crypto markets, but it does not happen differently in equity markets. Equity markets, we have more panic going on. Now, what's going on today? We see this thing ripping like crazy. It's up to the 200-day moving average. Wow. Son of a gun. Look at that thing go. But we've not, this year's been difficult. This is classic bear market territory. And what's funny is everybody is like, oh, this is like the 2008 analog. It's about ready to go down like this. I think you have to ask yourself, what has to happen that would inflict the greatest amount of pain to the largest cross-section of traders. What would have to happen in the markets for that to occur? I think for that to occur, again, I'm looking at a much bigger market here. This is the S&P 500. This is a bad-looking weekly chart. But what would have to happen to me is the price rallying up, getting close to all-time highs, and then we fall into a devastating recession next year. The Fed has been kicking this market down the curb, raising rates, saying we got to get this inflation under control without any regard to what's happening to employment, without any regard to what's happening with the housing market, without any regard to what's happening with the automobile market, with just about every market. The only thing that's really, all their data is trailing data that they're operating off of. And so they're going to push this thing off the cliff. What's going to happen is they're going to push it off the cliff, and then they're going to be backstroking like crazy, trying to cut rates and try to undo the cluster that they've just created. So there's more than likely going to happen. So we have not yet seen the capitulation yet from this. Now, does it have to happen? Crypto Bureau, does it have to happen? No. I mean, I spent 3 years waiting for the capitulation in the crypto market to happen after 2018. I'm like, where's the capitulation? It's not there. And then finally, the pandemic sort of caused one. We sort of had a little mini capitulation, and then everything changed after that. So sometimes it just doesn't fit the patterns. And crypto especially does not go through the same type of capitulation as the equity markets because people tend to hold on to stuff. Unlike people that trade stocks, that they don't care. I mean, notice the tone of people that are in the room that are like, hey, here's my pet project. Can you take a look at my pet project? Nobody in the equity market, no stock trader, with the exception of the goons that are in Wall Street Bets that are trading AMC and GameStop and crap like that. Nobody's got a stock du jour that they own and they follow and they care about. It's just a stock. Whereas you can't say that in the crypto market. People personify the assets that they hold. And so they typically tend to keep them instead of just, selling out of them at the bottom. So anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying we might have a little bit more upside to go, and that will get everybody leaning long. And then I think at some point here, I don't see how we avoid a hard landing. I really don't. I could be 100% wrong on this. I'm just an idiot savant after all. I'm not here to predict the future. I'm just looking at the price chart saying, what has to happen for this to move? And right now we could have a lot of people very short, which are about to get burned, and then everybody goes long, and then they get burned. Okay, enough of that. Okay, so we did, let's see. Jassy wants to look at Algorand. Let's look at Algorand. And if I've missed you somehow, please make sure to, that's the wrong ticker. Come on, wake up. Algorand. There we go. Okay, Algorand. This one, you can see where this one kind of broke. It was doing great, and then it broke right there, beginning of the year. And this thing has been brutal. It's been awful. I would not trade this one until it gets above 45 cents. Stay away. Okay. Whatever, QNT. GBTC on the monthly. Oh boy. So this is that grayscale. This is grayscale. And you really want to see the monthly? It looks as bad as anything else, right? So we got a little tail. We got a little tail on this thing. The problem with grayscale is this whole thing may fall apart, right? It's not really leveraged against anything. It's not asset backed to anything, and so it can trade freely. It can float, and that's the problem. So it can go higher than it should. against what it's supposed to represent, and it can go lower than it should against what it's supposed to represent. So that's the problem with this grayscale. So I wonder, do they have, my goodness, what a move today in the equity markets. We are up on the NASDAQ is almost up 4% today. That is an enormous move. And all it takes is one word from an FOMC chairman. This is just, it's ridiculous. It has no place in today's society. The Fed has no place in today's society. This is ridiculous. A bunch of academics and bureaucrats running around with red tape using trailing numbers to control the lives of everybody around, under this sort of pseudo mandate. Well, our mandate's employment and interest rate policy. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. You guys have no idea what you're doing. Seriously, they don't. No idea no idea of the after effects of what they're about to do. And then once it's proved to be wrong, which it is, show me one time in history where it's not been wrong, where they've not timed it incorrectly. We'll be paying for this. We'll be paying for this. So be careful. Be careful. All right, I'm going to get off my platform here. Any charts you found interesting this week? Well, actually, one of the most interesting ones is one of the most boring ones. One of the most boring ones ever. In the history of crypto, there is little that has been more boring than Litecoin. And Litecoin's probably the nicest looking chart that's out there in crypto, believe it or not. It's actually showing nice accumulation, higher highs and higher lows, really linear price movement. This one looks really good. It's hard to believe it. Litecoin was the former, hey, we're number 3, and nobody cares about them now, and all of a sudden they've been discovered. I don't know why. I think there's some kind of halving going on next year or something like that. But there you go. Alex, which is more likely for DXY, 104 or 109? Let us look. DXY. Okay, so we have, right now, Alex, the trend is to the downside. The trend is to the downside. However, what's the trend on the weekly chart? The weekly chart is this is just a pullback. This is just a pullback. So what we could see is something like this, right? Which encourages the equity markets to go higher. And then all of a sudden what happens is this kicks in. Remember, there's always a different fractal view of things depending on which time frame that we look at. So to me, probably 104. Don't hold me to that, but probably 104 based on the weekly pullback here. And it probably is going to find some type of support. It looks like about a 38.2 fib level. And then it may bounce from there, and that may crush the equities and risk markets from here. Okay, LTC, there we go. Let's see. JUP could hit 200. I've never heard of JUP before. Jupiter. Okay, that must be something different than you're looking at. Okay, so here's the last one that I'll do today, and then we'll just sort of move on. Okay, 2. Ethereum and Chronos. Ethereum. So let's look at old Ethereum here. So Ethereum is still in, this is still a consolidation pattern. That's a weekly chart consolidation pattern. It's almost like a head and shoulders here as well too. However, this all goes away. This all goes away if the price is able to break above 1600. If we see a break above 1600, then this could squeeze really hard from here. This could squeeze very hard. It should, Alex. It should, but temporarily, I think, temporarily. Okay, so that's Ethereum. Let's go look at Kronos. Kronos was not doing all that great last time I looked at it. And it's not. So all these other, this is an exchange coin, right? So everything's just getting the crap beat out of it on these things. So this is one to avoid as well, too. Avoid, avoid, avoid. Yeah, I think there's a good chance that they only do 50 basis points. But then, we'll see. Because the market right now is only pricing in 125 basis points into March, which means that there's 50 basis points, and then there's another 50, and then a quarter point. Man, we are just ripping. We are just absolutely, I've never seen anything like this in a long time. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time on the equities market. Just a obliteration to the upside. Okay, my friends, that's all I got for today, and it looks like we've got through everything on the list. If I didn't get through everything on the list, you're welcome to just shoot me a note over at doc@ReadySetCrypto.com. Otherwise, join us. Look in the description box. I've got some really good news for you by the end of the year. I think you'll find it really interesting. I think we're going to shuffle around the service. We're going to change it around. We're going to streamline it a little bit. And I think it's going to be really exciting for a lot of people. So stay tuned. That's about all I can give you right now because it's got a lot of work to do. Oh, something just hit, and that sounds good. Okay. So everybody, thanks very much. You guys take care, and we'll see you again soon. All right? All right, everybody, take care. Adios, amigos.